In the summer of 1951, New York City was a marijuana jungle. From underpasses in the Bronx to empty lots on Avenue X, the razor-toothed fronds of 10-foot-tall cannabis sativa plants could be seen all around the city, happily waving in the wind like any other innocuous and legal weed. But for all their persistence in invading the city's forgotten horticultural corners, these plants were likely waving farewell. New York was no friend to pot. Over the course of the summer, about 41,000 pounds of marijuana were uprooted and destroyed during a campaign to eradicate the psychotropic stuff from vacant lots in the city. After Queens, Brooklyn accounted for the largest haul, about 17,200 pounds. Though the bust in the article you see here occurred in Greenwich Village, the leader of this group of strikingly pretty girls and musicians copped to finding his marijuana somewhere in Brooklyn. As to what they were doing sitting hobo-style around a man preparing marijuana in a frying pan is, however, anyone's guess. Responsible for all this destruction was General Inspector of the city's sanitation department, John E. Gleason, who headed up a special White Wing squad charged with harvesting and incinerating the dubious crop. Here we see him standing in a field, arms akimbo, as his men lay the prized narcotic at his feet. The Eagle reported that the drug plant was growing here in lush impudence. In this photo, captioned "Plenty of Dream Stuff," we see Inspector Gleason and Dennis Healy, Sanitation District Superintendent for Greenpoint and Williamsburg, taking the measurements of one especially lofty specimen. At this point in the summer, August 2nd, the Sanitation Department had already dug up millions of dollars worth of plants from the marijuana plantations of Brooklyn. But just how many millions of dollars had these pop-up plantations disgorged? In an earlier Eagle article from July 28, 1951, detailing the daring marijuana farmers who had established a farm and a lot at the heart of Brooklyn's projected civic center, the estimated value of all the marijuana destroyed in Brooklyn was reported to be nearly $6 million. Plenty of green dream stuff, indeed. The proposed site of the new Civic Center wasn't the only municipal hotspot for impromptu pot farms. Here we see inspectors from both the sanitation and police departments overseeing a harvest in the shadow of the Brooklyn Federal Building. But these high-profile plantings were the exception. More often than not, these so-called marijuana farms were found growing in anonymous vacant lots, such as this plot on Livonia Avenue and Warwick Street, or this one at 82 Butler Street, where over 100 pounds of pot were hauled away. After being felled and used like safari beasts for some photo ops, the plants would then be taken to Sanitation Department incinerators in Woodside, Queens, where the Chief Inspector Gleason was on hand to oversee the fiery eradication. The photos you see here all come from a file labeled Crime, Drugs, Marijuana. It's a pat taxonomy indeed, and constitutes a kind of shorthand for what was and is the law of the land. And since laws, from the minute they are conceived, are both buoyed and attacked by supporters and detractors alike, I thought for sure we might find in these photos of Gleason's marijuana vigilantes some pro-pot faction, unintentionally caught by the lens of the Eagle photographer, standing by in the wings, betraying in their expressions a softness in their hearts for the demonized plant. And in looking closer, beyond the posturing of the suits and the cops, you can just make it out. It's a certain sort of conspiratorial glimmer, a smile, a shadow of a smile, some flicker of dissent passing over the face. Maybe it's there in the grin of the White Wing, or in the fishy cigarettes of the laborers, or in the full-on bliss of the woman whose yard accounted for 100 pounds of the evil, malevolent, impudent, illegal, notorious dream stuff.